Rambo onto our podcast this week. Hello, Rambo.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So, where should we start with Rambo?
I think you should give Rambo a little intro about the work that Rambo does, and then
we'll go from there.
Yes.
So basically, I started following you on Instagram quite a long time ago. And I remember one of the posts we'd just put up at the time was the one where you were talking about pigs and humans and the kind of like possible chance that it's like a mixed DNA thing. And then there was a picture of like the human eye and the pig's eye.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then I was like, yes, they like I always said, didn't I, Boris Johnson, it's like a pig.
Well, and also, my father's got two pig valves in his heart.
Yes.
So we use.
Yeah, so they can be transplanted. They can be transplanted over,
Exactly.
The skin of a pig.
Yeah. And the backside.
My backside looks a bit like that.
the rounded pink bum,
but not as hairy. But and also cannibals. I remember reading this when I was a child. Call human flesh long pig, don't they?
Yes, long pig,
because we taste like pigs.
Because we are. But I wonder whether
in Islam they believe that humans were turned into pigs.
Yes,
that's why they don't eat the pork.
That's why they don't eat. And which way around is it? Did the pig come first, or did the human come first? I wonder.
Well, yeah, we'll never know that one. We'll never know the answer to that one.
And then, of course, started looking more and more into your stuff, and I loved all the sports stuff and the fact that it's like, you're very good with all the numbers with it and the dates and everything and the sort of predictions, but also the fact that it's just fakery. Again, it's more.
Yeah, and that is what I'm trying to point out with it, because sometimes I'm wrong with it because, you know what I mean? You can't be right all the time and stuff, but that's what I'm trying to point out, not necessarily like look at them, trying to get people to follow the pattern, because what are the chances all these numbers all align every time,
Yeah. It's very strange.
And people want the score, but you can't really. You can do the score. I've done a few where the score has come exactly as I've put the code that it would come in, but it's more of a pattern. So the most kind of simple one I did was on the anniversary of the Titanic last year, and it was Man City versus Liverpool, and that's what. I just remembered Titanic, Liverpool, and it was on that date that they were playing, and I just went through all like the table and all the 22s. The number 22 was just coming up everywhere, and like the Titanic crashed at 2:20, 2,200 people died. Liverpool was on like 22 wins. City was on 22 wins. There was just so many. I got that on my story, and I kind of went through and just followed the 22s, and then the score come in at 2-2, but City got a goal disallowed, which was a normal goal, but made it 3-2. But it had to finish 2-2. And then Manchester City then posted a video just after that saying, "What a Titanic title clash!" And they posted a video. They posted a video 2 minutes 20 seconds long after the game.
Wow!
It was just. It was like it was magic how it lined up that day.
The numbers are obviously either part of some kind of or program that perhaps.
I think that it's kind of how everything is already scripted. It's always supposed to be like that. What will be it's always going to be that way. It's scripted to the point of it's being played out and it can't be kind of changed. That's how I kind of feel. What we're looking at, and I always think of the Matrix movie with the numbers, the codes behind everything going down.
Yeah,
and that's how I kind of look at the sports with it. It's coded, and they're also linked to other sports. They're kind of linked to things going on in the news as well. So an example, So an example of that was more recently. There was a 9-year-old girl shot in Liverpool. Did you hear about that? The Olivia Pratt-Corbell.
No.
It's big news. The trial is now going on. So basically, this guy in Liverpool had gone through this door and just shot the mother and the kid whilst chasing this other guy who was after. Anyway, the next game after that, so she was 9. It's like pretty viral. She's 9 years old, and after that, Liverpool played like literally the day after that, and they won 9-0, and they all they all had shirts on with Olivia underneath it.
Oh my
And it was just like, and the man of the match was number 9. And it was just like, how could it be that Liverpool, where it happened, and all the players and the legends, the Liverpool kind of legends, visited them, laid flowers and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it showed me that it is all, somehow it's all interlinked somehow.
And connected, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, hang on.
That kind of blew
Sorry,
my mind at 9-0, you know.
Yeah, no, the chances of that are crazy. But is it part of the spell casting, do you think? So it's written and then it has to play out.
Play out like, and I do feel it's biblical, like it's like script. It's like scriptured in it, you know.
Yeah.
And although I'm not a big into the Bible stuff, but sometimes I find it hard to deny that it is kind of playing out that way and it is scripted.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the Bible, when we looked at Enoch as well, which is pre-Bible, I think there is a load of information in there. We just have to bear in mind that it's been absolutely corrupted.
It's written, yes.
And
that's what I keep in mind. It is written, but like anything,
there's
in the movies and stuff, these movies, how they put truth out in the movies. Do you know what I mean?
That's how they do it, you know. So there is elements in there that are showing us the right way, but it's all fudged up with loads of other stuff that's been overlaid on it.
Yeah, and that's how it all kind of is. I feel like the truth is always there. It's out there, isn't it? You know, they put it. I feel like it is put out there for kind of us to find like how. That's where I feel like there is a good and a bad, a good and an evil, because somewhere I don't believe like people like myself have just woke up for no reason. Like we've been woken up.
Well, I was I mean, Tash is I'm more we talk about my woo, which is my spiritual side. But when I was 18, I went to India. Tash knows this, and I had a kind of very rude baptism of fire, if you like. And one of the things that happened when I was there, and in all of that, was that I met a man who kind of knew everything about me. It was a very spiritual experience. He spent some time with me. And in that time, he told me lots and lots of stuff, lots of which has happened. The main thing that he told me was there was a big shift in consciousness lined up for humanity, and that there were many people here right now that have come here to make sure that that happens. And it was a huge shift in consciousness and a huge waking up for humanity. And obviously that I'm 53 now. So I was 18 then. So my whole life, I have been aware and waiting. And waiting. And when 9/11 happened, I thought, here we go. And then it was just like, nothing. No, not yet. And then 2012, no, nothing. No. And then when it started 3 years ago, I was like,
that's when it started for a lot of people, isn't it? 2020 was the 2020 vision. That is the year, wasn't it?
Yes.
See, it's time to take, it's time to really see what's going on and wake the fuck up.
But not wake up, wake up to the whole
scripted
thing, isn't it? The fact that it's a projection and a simulation.
Yeah. And it's a manipulation
of through a journey, don't you? You have to go through a journey to get to the point where you're like, it is all kind of everything is scripted or fake. I just say everything is fake. That's kind of what I like to say. Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
And what's mad, I opened my Twitter account on New Year's Eve going into 2020, which was weird. Then I just went from there, I never opened it to actually tweet. I was kind of, what caught my attention? The Q thing. And I kept seeing it popping up. And I thought, I want to join and have a look at what this is. And then I just went from there.
Yeah.
And I believed all that. At one point, I was believing all of that.
Yeah.
It's part of the process.
But before 2020, were you awake? Were you aware then? Were you having suspicions or?
I've had suspicions, but not where I was like, everything's fake. Everything's a lie. Everything I know is a lie. But then I had things where I like growing up and stuff, like people were like following trends and doing what everyone. I always had to feel like I was doing it just. I shouldn't have been doing it, but I was doing it anyway. And that I feel like that was my sign that I knew all the way back then that I weren't like mad on the latest car and all that, but I was still trying to do it. And then, but I was, and that's what made me think all the way back then. It's like my gut was telling me this isn't you.
Right. This isn't you.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's the programming, isn't it? It's like we are so programmed from the moment that we're born that even though your gut was telling you this isn't who you are, this isn't you still
follow.
Yeah, and it's like breaking the programming. That's the key, is breaking our own programming. And I think that's what 2020 did for so many people, was to break into their program. And and still I feel people are
there's different and that whole thing is part of the process, the whole like the queue thing.
Yes,
and then of course
part of the process,
all this Pizzagate, all of this adrenaline, all of this sort of like other falsehood had to be a belief to be able to then
you have to go through all that, like and with 2020, look how many conspiracies came out, and I feel like they were all kind of traps, like to fall into literally rabbit holes, And
distractions.
All distractions.
Yeah. And also loose and energy collection. I mean, that's the thing with the sport.
That is the main thing I believe it is now. It's all about our energy. Like it's going somewhere.
And you look at the audiences with sport, you can see exactly why sport is such a strong part of that.
How many times do you hear the commentary saying the atmosphere is electric? Can you feel the energy in the crowd?
Yeah. Just taking it all.
Taking
all of that energy.
And the stadiums from above are kind of like the eye symbols, like if you bird's eye view of the stadium. But that always think of the commentary when they're saying like it's electric in here, and it's being said for a reason.
Basically telling us,
yeah. And we've been noticing the wording on lots of things where they tell you in the wording.
Even the one about the snow yesterday, how
the one about the snow yesterday.
We will be dumping snow in a couple of hours. I mean, my God, like that was like a major headline. We will be dumping snow.
So they're telling you they're making it. That's what's going here right now where we are.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bit jealous.
They've been telling us for days the snow's coming. It's here. They flipped the switch over Manchester.
Does it feel fake?
Yeah, I have to go and check in a minute.
See if you can melt it. See if you can melt it.
But I'm more at the point, like I was talking about this with HV. Is like, do you believe like there's more than one sun and one moon and stuff? I'm kind of at that point where I don't think the sun and the moon eyes we see in the UK is the same sun and the moon we're seeing in different countries.
In like America on the other the other bit of the plane, the other area.
And the moon's been tiny this week. Have you noticed? It's been
it's been misty. It's like kind of been blurry. Have you noticed? You can't actually see it.
I was like, bloody hell, because normally I could get a really good view of the moon, and this week it's been tiny and really. And I said, whoever's on the moon this week is doing a really shit job. They're really not into it. They're not putting their heart and soul into it. It was a bit rubbish.
And what is the moon? Is it plasma? Is it a projection?
Well, that thing you sent me this week, it didn't look solid.
Oh yeah, it's like we've got this video, and it was
it didn't look solid. It looked like fake.
We can link it at the bottom of this video, can't we?
Plasma. It didn't look solid.
I always think when the sky's blue, you can kind of see the blue through the moon. Can't you really?
You can completely. You can though, can't you?
I don't think it's an actual object. I don't think it's a physical.
No, I think it's a projection.
Yeah, a projectionist.
A projectionist.
Yes,
it's a projection. And the gentle mentalist who we're going to talk to later on in the week, she was talking about interesting stuff with the sky. So we'll just briefly talk about it, but connected to sort of chemtrails, and obviously that potentially being another.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
manipulation.
That one.
I think it's more to hide the sky, that more to hide what we see up there, and also could be part of the weather manipulation. But
I think it's weather, if anything.
Yeah,
it's not chemicals. It's not chemtrails. Where are they getting all these chemicals?
It's probably like a bit controversial in the conspiracy world that to say that you don't think chemtrails are killing you. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they're there to poison us.
No,
I think it's for other things.
we used to
I used to think that, yeah.
you know, but
yeah, that's another
Mm.
whole rabbit hole again. It's like you got to go through them all, don't you? And I've been there to killing us all, and the same with I don't want to say the word, I even went through that.
Yeah,
yeah.
So again, like
that's gonna kill us all, and then
yeah,
you kind of it's all set for our energy. Like we're giving our energy away of fear. Fear is coming from
it's what it's all about.
the constant state of fear.
Without the in the arm, you wouldn't have the whole germ theory. It wouldn't work, because that's all based on the fact that you have viruses and you have the in your arm and the viruses disappear. So if you don't have the you have no virus, do you? So it's all part of the bigger illusion of what the whole virus theory is all about, isn't it? Because without that, we wouldn't have the theory. It wouldn't work.
Once we debunk that,
which people
theory,
don't,
which now I'm looking at our health on our body in a completely different way, but that's another podcast.
But it's self-healing, isn't it? The thing is, our body,
we're an organism, it
self-heals anyway. So whatever's chucked at us, our bodies will work out how to get rid of it. So, and they, as you've probably said before, us.
Is it us? Yeah, that's what I was going to get. They is
our
us.
Energy.
We're creating it. We're creating the whole world. We're manifesting everything, and that's why they're kind of projecting it onto us, and we're reflecting it into the world and making it real. So we're reflecting the projection.
But it's more than reflecting, because there's programming in there as well. So I think, you have to understand how deeply we've all been, everyone has to understand how deeply we've all been programmed. So it's kind of like breaking out. There's layers, but I think once you pop out of the programming, you see it everywhere, don't you? They Live, that film where he puts the glasses on.
And that's exactly how it feels.
And you can't undo it. Once you can't unsee it. No. And that's why I don't watch TV or news or anything. And
I still watch the news and stuff to test me lenses,
I've started doing that now.
I used to be mad on football, had season tickets and stuff. It kind of just killed it for me in a way, but in a good way. I felt better about it. Now I'm just watching because it just looks all WWE, every single sport is WWE, but that's the only one that I'd miss. It's scripted and it takes the attention of all the others.
Right, hang on, you've broken up a little bit.
It's okay. It's just the internet is.
That's right.
It's okay. You're just freezing a little bit.
So talking about sports again, then. So when you say scripted, how do you think they script it out for the viewers to see? So do you think they use like magnetic-y things? Do you think they use trickery, or is it all CGI?
With football, with football, I believe they use a disc in the ball, and the reason I say this is a long time ago. There's a player, Eric Cantona.
Yeah, I remember.
And my friend went to his final match at United, and he caught the ball. And he took it home. And on the ball, it said, "This ball contains a flight disc."
Ooh.
And I didn't know at the time. I was young. I didn't know. But when I started to film this, I remembered why did that contain a flight disc? And Manchester United bought that off him.
They bought it back.
And they give him, so they give him £2,000. You have to remember, this is years ago. They give him £2,000, and then a year later said, "We'll give you another £5,000 if you just let us keep the ball again and leave it in the United Museum." It's in the museum now.
Really wanted the ball back. So you got £7,000
back there.
Got £7,000 for a football he caught in the crowd, and I think that's what they do. And with the World Cup, I think this year with the World Cup, I feel like we didn't see what we think we see, and they put a few tests out of that in a few of the games. And there was one where at Japan, it was a big controversial thing that did the ball go out or didn't it go out? And somehow the ball went from behind the line back across the goal and into the net. It was weird, and
like that went back on itself almost. You mean?
Yeah.
Which is
impossible. It couldn't have happened.
Can't happen.
And they actually told us with the World Cup there was technology in the ball tracking every movement it made, tracking the kicks of how fast the player was running and all sorts of stuff. So why couldn't they put something
in there?
Something in it.
I'm sure I know it's different, but with golf, I've seen
Golf
some
stuff and
pictures of Tiger Woods where you can see the ball.
Yeah, it
and
goes-
you hit it that way, and then it goes
all
off
the way around.
and goes off. And it's
Golf's
very,
another
very
sort of-
obvious in golf. I
Yeah,
think.
when you look at remote control balls, like, and if you look at, I've posted on Tiger Woods, and he does one, and the ball stops right on the edge of the hole, and the night tick is on show, and then it drops in, and it was like, if Nike would have made this an advert, and on his hat it said 1, and the N was within the circle of the 1, like a magnet in a ball.
Yes.
Like the symbol of a magnet on the ball in his hat.
Yeah, on his hat.
Just recently, well, I'd say a couple of months ago, Rory McIlroy was on the field, and it said the fans thrown a remote control ball onto the green, and he got annoyed and he thrown it into the water. And I think that is them again, putting it out there.
Yeah.
Remote balls. The stars are made, aren't they? They're already there at the stars for a reason. Like me, if I could play golf all my life, I'd be the best golf player ever, and I would never get there.
So who are these people? So with the sports people then, so we talked to a few people before about sort of like actor-based reality, but what we're talking about here is more that they don't exist at all. They're literally created through CGI, through holograms, through
and
doubles.
to idolize, created through.
So sorry, if you're at a football match then, because obviously you used to go.
I've been to a few.
What are we seeing now? Are we seeing players, but then there's a hologram on their face?
Well, that is where we could say it's actor-based reality. And how do we know those players aren't playing multiple sports?
Oh yeah.
So maybe there is a base. Maybe there is a base, but I do feel like there is some messing around going on with the looks of people. Like, look at Conor McGregor. I look at him over the years, how he's changed his. I don't think that's the same Conor McGregor. I really don't.
So they just use like they use like base actors, probably a small group of very talented athletes, and they interview them maybe.
And they do have some sort of talent, but are we seeing what we think we're seeing? And as an example, here now the UFC. Well, to talk about Conor McGregor, there was years ago there was a fight between Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman, and Anderson Silva's leg snapped. It round up, and it looks brutal at the first look, but when you look again, it snaps before he does it. It snaps before contact is made, and I think it's CGI. And how people in the crowd, all they need to see is the ambulance people, the paramedics surrounding, and that's all they need to see. And then they'll be shown on the screen, because mainly you're watching in the screen in the stadium anyway.
Oh, yes.
And they just see exactly what we just seen on TV. Anyway, years later, the guy who the leg break was against, and so the other lad broke his leg against this lad, he then is the only other person to have that exact same freak accident. The same guy who was in that fight had the same thing happen to him, and they're the only two who it happened to. But at this time, when this one happened, I was then awake to this. And then that's what made me go back to look at the other one, and then look at this one. And people are like, but why? Because look at it, makes it a talking point forever. That'll be remembered forever. It's WWE. It's part of the entertainment business.
When you mention it, I instantly went, "Oh no!" Because I immediately saw
a leg snapping. Yes, it's very.
So it's like
you reacted.
It got my energy straight away.
We're not seeing what we think we're seeing. And I feel like that's how they do it with football and everything. Because even when you're in the stadium, you can't see everything, you know.
See what's really going on.
You're right, you watch it through a screen. You've got the little miniature bit that you see through your eyes here, but when you want to watch what's going on,
you watch the screen. Exactly. Yeah.
Same with pop concerts.
Yeah, stadium concerts. We're there,
but we all get drawn to the screen because we watch it through the screen.
Yeah.
They get asked as well, with football, do you think all players are in on it? And I don't think all the players are in on it, but they don't need to be, with all the refs and the camera, the computers that make the decisions now and stuff. That all the players don't need to be in it, but the main ones I feel like that are pushed up, like Ronaldo's and Messi's
Number
and stuff.
sevens. The number sevens always.
Yeah, the number 7. Yeah, the number 7. I'll go into the number 7.
Yeah,
well.
you're interested with number 7 because you've done that thing where you worked out there's a lot of things in this realm
All
that use the number 7.
Yeah. And that's like started with like it's the Freemasonry thing how they have the compass with the big G in it. Do you know? And do you know what like brought me that to was Andrew Tate when they called him the top G. And I was like, I kind of linked that together, and then it was like the G, and I was like, right, oh, then they have the G7 Summit, don't they? Like, and then it's like 7 G is the 7th letter of the alphabet.
Yeah,
it's like.
And what do you think 7 as a number? What do you think that is about for them?
It's kind of like I feel it's the kind of like they call it like the God number, don't they? The number of God.
Yeah,
so like that's where they're whatever it is, he's playing God. I feel like
can I say what my theory is with it? Because I think it is our connective number to God, because we have 7 energy centers in our body.
Yeah, 7 chakras. That's
7 chakras, and they say that there's the seven. There's the directions: north, south, east, west, above, below, and the realm.
That makes it 7,
which is another 7. So 7s are very much about how our realm,
how it works,
and our connection with that realm is interlocking. So when they
rested on the 7th,
they're corrupting that.
corrupting it.
Yeah,
that's what I link it to the goddess. They say God rested on the 7th day. You know, and it just go through. They have the 7 wonders of the world,
7 days of the week,
7 seas, 7 days in a week.
Everywhere,
7 colours in a rainbow.
Very applicable to this realm.
Very applicable to this realm, and like you say, is their purpose for using
7 deadly sins.
7 deadly sins. You're right, it's everywhere, isn't it? And it's is it a corruption thing? Because I say it's meant to be a good thing, and if they start using it in sport and looting and getting us to idolize.
And then, like you say, like Cantona number 7, Ronaldo number 7, right, Beckham number 7. All the legends of Manchester United, the Red Devils, are number 7.
Yeah, it's a real sort of like
they use it all the time.
They use it all the time.
They use it all the time.
We're just going to say, Rambo, as we told you before, they always kick us off everything. So we've got 10 minutes left on this one.
Talking of time,
we have just it says 10 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll carry on, and then if you don't mind, we'll do a part 2.
Yeah, no problem.
Is that all right? Yeah. So it says 10 minutes left, but so the number 7, it is an interesting.
It's one of those that I'm never glued to one idea of what it could be. So I'm always I never say, that is 100% what I think it is, because I can change my mind on it. You know, that's why I kind of.
And it may be.
I don't want to say it's a bad thing, number 7, or they're using it as a bad thing. Maybe it's being used for a certain energy, maybe the numbers are linked with energy. So I just think like I'll be using number 33 in all these stories and stuff. I feel like is an energetic thing, how they're using the numbers.
Yes, definitely energetic. Definitely.
And it's coded for what's that kind of energy extracting from us, do you know?
Yeah.
So they want a specific energy, they'll
use
that number.
As an example now, the number 22, that is one that I follow. That is always linked with kind of terrorism, kind of terror. So like JFK assassinated on the 22nd of November. Then we had Lee Rigby in the UK, 22nd of May at 2:20. Then we had the Manchester Arena bomb, 22nd of May, same date. Bomber, age 22, 22 people died. It was everything is, and if you follow number 22, you will see that when there's been a shooting or a school if you look at school shootings, they're always like 22. It's like, or the victim is 22, or it's always 22 when it's something like that. And that's where I kind of think they're using that number to mark that energy that people are going to give towards that story, do you know?
Yeah. Or part of the program, like you say, if it's coded as well, that those numbers are within the code that's already. It's
all, like I said before, it's all layered. I feel like it's layered, numbers, colours, lies. It's all layered on top of each other. The programming's deep in it, you know, very, very deep. And I feel like it feels like an onion.
Yes.
That's what I kind of feel like it is.
Yeah.
But one thing I kind of feel like viewing it as fake. Everything, like, it kind of gives you a bit of peace from it. I don't feel like I'm giving my energy to this stuff.
Yeah, I feel
you?
so peaceful since it all fell into place. I'm
You
like,
feel
oh,
light,
yeah,
don't
and I
you?
can watch the news now and like you do, see it, analyze it, see it for what it is. And I, never watch movies, and I've bought Free Guy on your recommendation, so I'm going to watch Free Guy tonight. And I never would have done that.
Clips a lot together.
Yeah, it brings it together, doesn't it? And I wouldn't have done that before. Whereas when you change your perception of it, of how you see things, it doesn't matter what their intention is, it's how you receive it and how you manifest it yourself. So you can do all the things that are considered bad or whatever, because it's how you process that information that you're given. That's how I feel. So so the weight's lifted massively.
And that is then when you realize that it's down to you, actually. And how you use your energy and how you
live your life.
You understand that it's all about your energy and your programming.
You're using all that energy on yourself instead of giving it all to this crap. And at one point, I've given it all to this crap, all this Tom Hanks stuff. I gave them so much energy to keep me awake that night. So thinking what I'm going to do next, where shall I look next? And then now it's like, trust me, God, that's all I do now. Like, that is me.
Completely.
But it was part of the process. I
Absolutely.
think everyone has to go through that phase to see both sides, the fact that the fakery is on both sides. That's the only way you can realize that we're in a simulation of sorts and a script.
And the good, like, that is when I started to see that people don't exist at all. And we can go into it in part 2. What really got me into it is Paul Walker, Fast and Furious.
Yes. The guy that died in the car crash.
In his dream car. So he died so he'd done an interview when he first came into Hollywood, and he asked him what his dream car would be and he said a Porsche Carrera GT, the exact car that he crashed in.
That he died in.
And he was also a race car driver outside of being a race car driver in the movies, It was
He's a complete character, obviously, isn't he?
A complete character, and it was made for the movie franchise. And when you look at the crash scene, he crashed into like a little kind of decorative roadside tree, really thin. And the car's just totaled, and there's one photo of it up in flames, everything on fire. Then when they put the fire out, all the leaves are still on the tree.
Yeah, it's using those lenses again, isn't it? It's using your proper eyes to see things for what.
Instead
of just believing what we're told.
Now, isn't it? The newest one's coming out now, and he's in it. He's in the film again.
Hey.
So this is what really got me onto him being fake all along. So in Fast and Furious 7, he was in Fast and Furious 7, but he was dead.
Even though he's dead.
So how did they put that out to the public?
So there's a video. I've got that post on Instagram as well of how they say they used his 2 brothers, Caleb and Cody, who kind of just look the perfect mix of him. They look, if you mix them faces together, they look.
It's him.
Exactly like Paul Walker, So they say they used these 2 brothers, and mixed them together, and they made Paul Walker appear in that movie as CGI. But if they didn't tell us that, we never would have knew. So then I thought, like, why did he even have to be in any of the movies? Why did he didn't need to be in it ever? Do you know what I mean? And to me, it makes more sense that he wouldn't ever need to exist. He's just part of a franchise, and he's also a character that's selling us as, he's a race car driver outside of being a movie star. Anyway, I found this movie called Simone, and I'm one for truth in movies, and it was about Al Pacino, and he gets this, he's a movie director, and he gets given a disc, and on the disc is a movie star that only can appear on screen.
Wow.
And he puts her out in Hollywood, and everyone loves her, and everyone's saying to him, can we meet her? I need to meet Simone. So he doesn't like it. So he gets in a body double who looks just like her.
They're just telling us, aren't they?
Yeah. So they make her a singer and act, and he puts her on stage singing, and everyone can see the body double, but they're watching the screens at the side of the stage singing. And I was like, I've been talking about Paul Walker, and then this movie's come along, and it's hand in hand with what I'm saying. Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, he needs to ruin a career. because everyone wants to see her. And so he
Yeah.
starts like putting her on drugs and drinking all the time and doing all sorts just to finish her career off. So
Wow.
nobody likes her anymore.
And then that's it. Nobody's interested.
That is what, and you know what? Then I thought that is what they've done with Tom Hanks in a way.
Yes,
They
they
made
have.
everyone love him, and then now
everyone hate him.
everyone hate him.
And they've said that they've used his brother before now. He's another one.
Yeah,
When you said about
he
using the
He's the
brothers.
brother.
Yeah,
But I
they
don't
go,
think his brother's real either.
no,
No.
it's not.
No, they're just
Yeah,
overlays and
yeah, just kind of
just
another sort of weird.
because of the voices. It's all of it, isn't it? It's all
Yeah.
fake.
Well,
Yeah.
the voices they say his brother was Woody. His brother actually done Woody.
Yes,
in
that's what they've said.
Toy
He did
Story.
the voiceover in Woody and Toy Story.
Ah,
It was his brother.
that's-
It wasn't Tom. It was
It
his.
wasn't actually Tom Hanks. But then have you seen the voice cloning technology? You can even do it with an
Yeah,
app. You can download an
Yeah.
app doing it. So
We can do
how
it
can you-
ourselves.
yeah. You don't need a person to even base it.
So
on.
imagine what they can actually do. And one thing I ask myself, is it a clone or is that the original? Like,
Well, what we'll do is
was it always a
we'll
clone?
start with that on the next part of part 2.
And we'll talk about animal fakery as well.
Animal fakery.
Oh yeah, that's one of my
Okay,
favourites.
we'll be back.
We'll be back, guys. Bye.
See you later.